Anyone? Laplace transform e to the power minus at ut 1 upon s plus a or minus a.
SA.
It is s plus a. Okay. And similarly, we have dealt the Laplace transform of sine function, cosine function, and then the differentiation function d by dx, and the integral function. So these four formulas we have dealt with. Okay. One last formula which I would like to tell you is the Laplace transform of e to the power of n times ut is 1 upon s. Any guess? 1 upon Sn plus 1. Please note down this formula, that Laplace transform of t to the power of n times of any function, like t times n of ut is 1 upon Sn plus 1. So I would just like to discuss one very small question related to Laplace transform. Again, important question, and that will be the last question for the Laplace transform. Okay, and then we will start the theorems. Okay, so let me show the question to you, and please tell me the answer for that question. The question is, please do it very carefully. This is the last question of Laplace. So the question is this one, plus minus, and this is R, this is L, and this is the capacitors. Okay. The capacitor is 1 farad, and the inductor is 1 Henry. Resistance is 2 ohms. The input is ut, and the current that is flowing in the circuit is it. Okay. So you have to find the value of current it in the circuit. Okay. You have to find the what is value of it, and using Laplace transform. Please tell me the solution for this question. I'm giving you some time, and then let me know. So first step, what you will be doing, please tell me. You have to create the equivalent circuit in the Laplace domain. So I'm just creating one equivalent circuit in the Laplace domain. This is R, L, and C. Okay. So what is the Laplace of ut? Anyone?
1 by S.
1 by S. And this will be 2 ohms. There won't be any change in the resistance value in the Laplace domain. What about inductor L? What will be inductive S into L? So L is 1 Henry, and capacitance is also given as 1 farad. So 1 upon SC. So 1 upon SC is also 1 by S. Now the current that is flowing in the circuit is IS. So IS is, please tell me, 1 upon S divided by 2 plus S plus 1 upon S. Now from this you have to take the Laplace inverse and get me the value of IT. I'm giving you 2 minutes time, not 2 minutes, take 3-4 minutes, because this is little bit of this thing, the concept which I have just told you, that the Laplace of t times ut is 1 upon s square. Okay, because it was t to the power of n and sn plus 1. So because this is t to the power of 1, the Laplace is 1 upon sn plus 1, which is 1 upon s square. So now please solve this question using this concept and let me know the current value with in this one. I'm giving you 2 to 3 minutes time. Please solve it. So any answers?
E power minus t into tu of t.
Sir, t into e power minus t.
Okay, let me check the answer. T into e power of minus t ut is the answer. Anyone got this answer?
Yes, sir.
I'll just do it for the people who are not able to do it. So you have is as 1 upon s upon 2 plus s plus 1 by s. Okay. So this will reduce to 1 upon s square plus 2s plus 1, which is equals to 1 upon s plus 1 whole square. Okay. Now we know that the Laplace transform of ut is 1 by s, but because this is s plus 1, okay, just a minute. What is Laplace transform of t times ut? Please tell me. Laplace transform of t times ut is 1 upon s square. Okay. Now, if it is plus 1 is there, then definitely the Laplace transform of, or you can say Laplace inverse of s plus 1 whole square, it should be, tell me, e to the power of whatever the coefficient, this thing is, addition of the constant is e to the power of minus 80. So, which is t times ut. Anyone, any doubt? They can ask me. So, it is e to the power of minus t times ut. Anyone, any doubt? You can ask me. Okay, so such kind of similar questions it will be asked in your exams also, that you will be given some circuit, any random circuit may be given, and you will be maybe given some initial conditions also. Okay, and then you have to find out the inverse Laplace transform and the value of current, all the voltage across any circuit. Okay, so ultimately in the time domain, you were doing, suppose this is any voltage, any resistor, any capacitor, something like this, some inductor may be given. Okay, some other combination may be given. Okay, so if you solve this question in the time domain, you will find out that current value I, it will go here, here, and all the three branches it will go. And definitely you will use some integral term, some differentiation term, okay, and some constant term to write all these three current values. Okay, so instead of doing all these cumbersome jobs, what you will just do, you will just take the voltage in the Laplace domain. Everything you will convert in the Laplace domain, and simply you have to apply the KVL and the KCL equation. So ultimately, you don't have to take care of these integral function, of these differential function in your solution. So that is why the Laplace transform is extremely simple technique, and it is one of the most frequently used technique in for the network analysis. It really simplifies all the integral and differential terms in our analysis. Okay, so this is how you'll be utilizing it. And if it is not told in the question that what things you have to use, then you are most welcome to use the Laplace. And if it is specifically told that you have to solve the question in time domain or in Laplace domain, then you have to use that. Otherwise, if nothing is mentioned, you can solve the question of AC using any kind of analysis, whichever you are comfortable. But from my side, it is always better to use a Laplace domain, because that will simplify your integral and the derivative part. So your answer will come at once. Okay. So with this, the Laplace transform is almost over. Like, it's done. Now you are. Okay. I am recording the session. Just a second. The Laplace transform is now completely done, and you can solve the questions what are given in your some books, whatever you are referring, and it will be easy for you to solve in the exam. Okay. Now we will just discuss some of the network theorems. Network theorems. Okay. So what network theorem you must have read in your first year is superposition theorem. Superposition superposition theorem, right? This theorem you have already read in your first year, that if you have to find out the response in any element of a circuit, okay, then which is having the multiple sources, then the response is the algebraic addition of all the sources which are present in the system taken individually. So if there are more than one sources, suppose this is a battery, okay, this is a resistor, this is a current source, okay, this is another resistor, and it is being told that you have to find out the value of current through this resistance R. Then either you can use the KVL or KCL equation, or you can use the superposition theorem. Okay, in superposition theorem, you have to take these two sources individually, and then you have to find out the value of current in the element. So this thing you must have learned in your first year syllabus also. Okay, so what you will be doing to deactivate the voltage source? Please tell me. Anyone? How the voltage source is deactivated? You have to short circuit it. Okay, so suppose this V is equals to 5 volt. On deactivating, this V becomes equals to 0 volts. So this is how you have to deactivate the voltage source. Similarly, if you have to deactivate the current source, what you will do? Anyone? Am I audible? I hope so.
Open
I'm
circuits.
audible because I have some problem in my throat, so I won't be able to ask again and again. But I'm expecting that you are getting. So if you have to do you have to open the current source. Okay. So superposition theorem I'm not detailing much because this thing was already covered in the first year syllabus. Okay. So the main next theorem which I would like to discuss is the Thevenin's and the Norton theorem. Suppose you are discussing Norton's theorem. Norton's theorem states that if you have to find the current or voltage across any two terminals of the circuit, then the Norton's equivalent current source and impedance must be calculated. Okay. What does it say? That suppose you have some network, any network you can assume, it may have a battery or a capacitor or any kind of network, whatever you want to think, you can think of any combination of elements. There is no fixed combination that some element is connected like that. Any combination of elements, any combination of voltage or the current source, dependent, independent, everything, whatever you can think of in a circuit analysis, whatever combination you want to take. If someone asks you that you have to find out the current and the voltage through any terminal of the network, okay, between two terminals of the network, okay, then you can use the Norton's theorem to get the value of voltage or current through that terminal. What I want to say is, again, suppose this is a network. Suppose this is a very simple network. I'm just drawing here. Okay. And okay. And suppose this is terminal A, this is terminal B. Okay. And if someone asks you that for this network, okay, for this network, you have to find out what is VAB using the Norton's theorem, okay? What is VAB and IAB using the Norton's theorem? Someone asks you that these are the two terminals, and you have to find out the current flowing in between these two terminals and the voltage drop across those terminals, okay, using the Norton theorem, okay. Then how you will solve that question and how the Norton's theorem you will apply in that, I will be telling you that thing one by one, okay. So first, for applying the Norton's theorem, and why this Norton theorem is being used in order to simplify the circuit calculations again, okay, because there will be a, because this circuit, you might be thinking that this is very simple circuit, okay, but there may be a complex connection of various elements, okay, and which will have a various multiple sources also, okay. So in that case, it is very difficult to apply the KVL or the KCL in that particular circuit, okay. So for applying, preventing the application of KVL and KCL in those circuits, the Norton's and the Thevenin circuit may be used to solve the question in a much faster manner and in much easier manner, okay. So for application of Norton's theorem, you have to calculate two quantities. One is the short circuit current and the Thevenin's voltage across the two terminals. These two have to be calculated. Okay. Short circuit current and the Thevenin's equivalent across those two terminals you have to calculate. Okay. For finding the Norton's equivalent circuit. Okay. So any two terminal, if you have to find out across A and B, so you can represent this circuit with the Norton's equivalent circuit having, am I audible now? I'm speaking a little bit slow today because my throat is really infected, so I'm not able to speak too louder. So this you can represent the Norton equivalent circuit as I short circuit in parallel with ZTH, and then you can connect whatever the element is there between A and B. Okay. So this is the Norton's equivalent. The answer will be coming. Either you solve the question using KVL, KCL, or you solve the question using Norton's or Thevenin's. The answer will definitely come out to be same. Okay, but I am not discussing the derivation of these two theorems because that is beyond your scope. So it is not feasible also to discuss the theorems derivation. Okay, so these two are very simple theorems, and you will be using it as it is. So there is no sense of deriving it again and again. Okay. So you have to find out the value of current ISC and ZTH. So what is current ISC? Just a minute, student. So what is current ISC? It is a short circuit current through that terminal if those terminals are short circuited like this. So essentially, in the previous diagram, I have shown you this kind of figure. Okay. Something this kind of figure was there. And it was told that you have to find out the potential, the difference, the Norton's equivalent across A and B. So for finding the ISC, you have to find the short circuit current through this terminal. So first of all, you have to reduce this, something like this. Okay. Now you have to find out the short circuit current, what is flowing in this circuit. So that value will be ISC. Okay. And then second thing, what you have to find out is, you have to find out what is the Thevenin's equivalent across these two terminals. Okay. So for finding the Thevenin's equivalent, you have to remove this resistance completely, and you have to take this as a two terminals, and you have to deactivate all the sources. So essentially what it says is you have to deactivate the voltage source, which is short circuited now. This is resistance, and you have to find out ZTH, something like this. So this element value will come only into picture after you draw the Norton's equivalent. Otherwise, this element value, what is connected between those two terminals where it is asked, it has no significance until you find out ISC and ZTH. In ISC, this terminal is short circuited. In ZTH, this terminal is open circuited. Okay. So this is how and whatever the ZTH will be coming, the Z equivalent in these two terminals, that will be your ZTH. Okay, we will discuss that question that will give you a more insight about application of the Norton's theorem. Okay, so just take down this very simple questions related to Norton's theorem. Okay. So the question is, this is a 24-volt battery. This is 6 ohms. This is 4 ohms. And this is another 4 ohms. And these are the two terminals A and B. And you have to find out the IAB by using Norton's theorem. So you have to find the current which is flowing in this terminal A to B using the Norton's theorem. So please find out what is the value of ISC in this one. And let me know. So for finding ISC, what you have to do, you have to short circuit the terminal. Okay. So this is there. This one is here. And essentially what you have done, you have just short circuited this terminal A and B. And you have to find out this current ISC. Please let me know what is the current ISC. And 24 volts.
4 amperes.
How much?
4
Please,
amperes.
please take time and then let me know the answer. Yeah. What is the answer of ISC?
4, sir.
4 ampere?
Yes.
I don't know the answer, but I'll just check it. I hope so. You must have, how you have done this thing, ISC? No, there won't be any current in this branch because this is short circuited. Okay. So only current what will be flowing is complete in the outer branch. So that is 4 amperes. ISC is 4 amperes. Now you have to find out the value of ZTH. So what you have to do, you have to remove this element and take it as an open circuit and deactivate all the sources to find the value of ZTH. So this is short circuited. This is 6 ohms. This is 4 ohms. And this is now open circuited. Now please tell the value of equivalent resistance or ZTH, what we call. I am calling it as ZTH because there may be inductor also in the circuit. So the theorem goes same. Okay. There is no change even if the inductor or the capacitor is there. So please tell me the value of ZTH as seen from this terminal A and B.
2.4.
Okay. So that will be 6 in parallel with 4, which is 6 into 4 by 10, which is 2.4. Now your Norton short circuit current and your Thevenin's equivalent resistance is ready. Now ultimately what you have to do, you have to draw the circuit. So which is ISC is given as 4 amperes and it is in parallel with 2.4. Okay. And now you can use A and B, and there was a 4 ohm resistance. Now can you find out the current flowing in this branch IAB directly? By using the current division rule? I have told you already. This current division, the net current multiply by the branch resistance opposite to the branch in which the current is needed. So tell me what should be in the numerator here? By using the current division rule. I am asking IAB.
2.4 by 6.4.
No, tell me in the numerator what it should be there. 2.4 by
2.4 plus 6.4. 4 6. 2.4 plus 4.
Anyone doubt any of this? You can ask me. So this is correct.
So this is
What about the answer? Yeah, tell me. Any doubt? Someone was asking something. No? Okay, so what is the answer coming in IAB?
16.
16 amperes. 16, no, it cannot be 16 here. Cannot be more than 4, no?
1.5.
Please calculate. This is 6.4 in the denominator. 4 into 2.4 by 6.4. Please tell me the answer. How much is it? 1.5, huh?
Yes, 1.5.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now by using the Norton's theorem, IAB has come out to be 1.5. Now you please apply KVL and KCL here and find out the what is value of IAB and let me know the answer whether it is coming same or not. Please apply KVL and the KCL in this circuit and just check whether IAB is directly coming out to be 1.5 amperes or not. It should come same.
Yes, sir. Same.
You can verify also, it should come same. So instead of applying the two equations here, yeah, this Norton's theorem may be simply be applied to directly find the short circuit current and the ZTH value. Okay, and directly you can find the value of voltage or the current across that element. Okay. Okay, so this was about the Norton's theorem. Okay, similarly we have the Thevenin's theorem also. Okay, Thevenin's theorem. Okay, so in Norton's theorem you used to find the short circuit current. In Thevenin's theorem you have to find out the Thevenin's voltage. That's the only difference. So if you have some circuit and if it is being told to you that you have to find out the Thevenin's equivalent across two terminals, okay, so what you have to do, you have to use the Thevenin's voltage VTH in series with ZTH to find out the net equivalent circuit across those two terminals A and B. Okay. So ZTH calculation is exactly same as the Norton's theorem. Okay, you have to deactivate all the sources. Please note it down. In case of deactivating, what I am telling is, do not ever deactivate the dependent sources. Okay, only the independent sources should be deactivated. Okay, if I am telling you that the deactivation of the sources is being done. So it should only be of the independent sources, not the dependent sources. Okay, please take that thing in mind. Okay, so for finding the ZTH, you have to deactivate all the independent sources, and then you have to find out the net equivalent resistance across those two terminals. The ZTH calculation is exactly same as the Norton's theorem ZTH. Okay, but VTH, what you have to do, you have to find out the voltage difference between these 2 points, the open circuit voltage. The VTH is basically the open circuit voltage across the terminal A and B. Okay. Similarly, ISC was the short circuit current across the terminal A and B. So these two are the main things. Okay. Now let me show you the same similar previous question, and let me find out the VTH value in that question. More simplified thing. Okay. So the question was something like this. Six ohm and 4 volts. And you have to find out the Thevenin's equivalent across the terminal A and B. So for finding the VTH, I have told you VTH is the open circuit voltage between the terminals A and B. Okay. So VTH formation, you have to do something like this. Okay. So VTH is the voltage, the open circuit voltage VAB. Okay. So please tell me this voltage by using the simple KVL equation. What is VAB?
12, 12, 12.
12 volts. 6 4s 10, 2.4 into 4. How is it 12 here?
9.6.
Yeah, it should be 9.6 something. I hope so. Because this is 10 ohms, the series resistance will be 10 ohms. So the current in the circuit will be 24 by 10, which is 2.4 amperes. Okay. And the current 2.4 into 4, it should be 9.6. Anyone getting 9.6? This voltage?
Yes, sir. 9.
Yes.
Okay. So now once VTH is ready, 9.6 is ready, and ZTH was coming how much in the last one? Let me see. What was ZTH? 2.4, I guess, right? So ZTH was coming out to be 2.4. So this is 2.4, and now it is connected across A and B, which is 4 ohms. Now you just using this simple Thevenin's equivalent, please find out the net current that is flowing here. How much is it? So it is 9.6 by 6.4. Is it coming same or different as the last one? I suppose it is same only, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is how you have to apply the Thevenin's theorem and the Norton's theorem. So I'm just giving you one example. Please tell me what is the value of Thevenin's and the Norton's equivalent. Yeah. Okay. So this is the question. ohms, 1 ohms, 5 ohms, 5 volts, and this is 2 amperes. So the terminals are 5 ohm, this one. So you have to find out what is VTH across A and B, and what is ISC across A and B, and what is ZTH across A and B. Please find these three quantities, okay, using Thevenin's and the Norton's theorem, and let me know the answer. First of all, it's better to find ZTH value because that is common in both things. Let me know the ZTH value across the terminal A and B. The Thevenin's equivalent impedance across the terminal A and B.
Three ohm.
Come again?
3, sir. 3 ohm.
Let me just check. So you have to deactivate all the independent sources. So current source will be open circuited. Okay. This 1 ohm will be there. This 2 ohms will be there. And this will be definitely open circuited because this is the exact terminal across which you have to find out. And this battery will be short circuited. Is it 3? Really? Please check. This is a very typical thing. It came.
0.
0?
0, sir.
I don't know. I am myself confused. Please check. That is why this question is given. It should be 0 or this thing.
It should be 0, sir. A wire is connecting between A and B.
I suppose it should be 0. Right? ZTH is 0. Now if ZTH is 0, the current will flow to this terminal here or not? Please tell me. What I am telling is, if you are drawing some Norton's equivalent, okay, now if ZTH itself is 0, this is ZTH. And whatever be the value of here, resistance A and B, which is equal to 5 ohms. If ZTH is 0, will there be any current here? Yes or no? Across A and B?
No.
No.
No,
So
sir.
please check using the KVL and the KCL equation whether some current is flowing in 5 ohm or not. But I suppose the current should be there. As far as I can see. Tell me. Current will be there. 5 ohms. Definitely the current will be there. Okay. Take it as an exercise. The current should be there. This question, again, I am telling you very important question. It may come in the exam also. Such kind of questions I'll be asking. So as far as the things I have told you, please find out whether the current will be there in A and B or not. But as far as I can see that if this is a battery which is connected across the 5 ohms resistor, then the current should be there of 1 ampere directly. It should be there. Please do this question and let me know in the next class. Okay, one more question you please take. Similar question only. Let me check the question. Take this question. So there is a 3 ampere source. This is 16 ohms. This is 4 ohms. This is 5 ohms. Okay, and this is 1 ohm, and this is 10 ohms. And this is terminal A and B. You have to find out the ZTH value across the terminal A and B. Okay, let me just a second. And this is, there is a battery also, plus and minus. And here is a battery also, plus minus 12 volt. You have to find out ZTH value between the terminal A and B. Please let me know the ZTH value. Any answers of ZTH?
6 ohm.
Let me check. So this will be open circuited. Here the 16 will be there. This is 4 and this is 5. The battery will be short circuited, and this is 2, and these are the two terminals, A and B. 16 plus 4 is 20. These two will be in series. Okay. So this will be 20 and 20 in parallel with 5.
5 is not considered now, sir.
Why?
12 volts is present.
Come again?
It will be open circuit now, sir.
No,
12
no,
volts.
battery. It is battery. So battery will be short circuited. You're getting? If it is a current source, then it will be open circuited. If it is a battery, to deactivate the battery, it should be short circuited. You got it? Yes, no?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So this will be 20 in parallel with 5 and total is in series with 2. So this should be 100 by 25 plus 2 and it should be 25 4 6 ohms. Any doubt? This is how you have to find out the ZTH. Okay. And VTH and ISC also you can find out. That will take some time, but you can do it in your home and find out the value of VTH and ISC also. So for finding VTH, you have to find out VAB by considering all the sources, but this terminal should be open circuited. For finding ISC, you have to short circuit this terminal like this, and then you can find out ISC. Okay. Then by using the Thevenin's theorem or the Norton's theorem, you can find out the response across the terminal A and B. Okay. So this is how we will be doing the Thevenin's and the Norton's theorem. Okay. So please revise this. Actually, share this thing. All the recordings I have already shared with the CR until now. Today also I will share. Please solve the questions and let me know if you have some doubt in Thevenin's and the Norton's theorem. But please take care of this question which I have given you. This is an exception, but you have to find it. Okay. About this question. What is the current across the 5 ohm source? Okay. Fine. Thank you everyone. And we will meet, I think hopefully after Diwali only. Okay. So happy Diwali to everyone, and after Diwali we'll continue our classes. If tomorrow is no class, I'll check whether tomorrow's class is there or not. Class is there tomorrow? Tomorrow you have any classes? Okay, fine. I think I don't know if I'm audible or not. But if tomorrow's class is there, and then we will have a class. Otherwise, after Diwali we will have a class. Thank you everyone. Happy Diwali to everyone again.